I have actively assisted Ray and Associates with searches both in California and nationally. Just to give a little bit of background, I was a superintendent for 12 years in LA County. I have 40 plus years in education.
What district?
Whittier.
Okay, we'll scope it.
That's okay, it's W105.
I know where it's at. I'm talking about its performance. That's what I do. Thank you.
Interim superintendent outside of Sacramento and in Compton most recently. They searched for their new superintendent. I was a state trustee of the Takeover School District in Salinas for 2 years. And in connection with your district, I was director of personnel in Lenox from 1989 to 96. So interacted frequently with the Centinela Valley. And as it was our feeder district, so we know the district.
30% not coming to school back then.
It's a tough act to follow. No, but we do have several associates in California that will be active on this search. I myself, as the corporate director, felt that I needed to be here because this search is an important one. So our PowerPoint presentation today is a little bit different. We have an Apple Mac, and we don't have a thing for the new Thunderbolt computers. So instead of doing that, we'll just go off of the what sets us apart, which is really what we're going to show you anyway. Okay. And with this short amount of time, we really just want to focus on what sets us apart from everybody. Okay.
If it sets you any at ease, nobody's had a PowerPoint prior to this, so you're all good.
Well, darn it, we were ready for it. All right, our firm is very big into technology, and I'm going to show you a little bit about that later. But the first one, if you flip over, you can see a little bit about our firm. We put that little picture of Cedar Rapids, Iowa in there. A lot of people think Iowa is just a bunch of cornfields. We are a big city, and we do associate ourselves with several national organizations. AASA, we will be presenting at. Several different, presentations for the superintendents at AASA. NSBA, NAPSI, ALIS as well. 3 of the 4 founding members of ALIS actually work for us. They're our associates. So I think that that's very important to point out. If we flip over, we can look at our experience. We've been in business since 1975, longer than any other search firm out there. We're 39 years old, and that's a big important thing to go ahead and point out because we've never merged, we've never been bought out. We're the same company as we were from day one. Yes, you may have noticed my last name is Ray. I'm the son of Gary Ray, who is the president of the firm. Gary will be actively involved in this search as well. Okay. Recruiting the nation's educators is our primary business. Some of the firms that you may talk to earlier on or later on this evening, it's not their only thing. They have their hands in several other things. But this is our only thing that we do, is finding educators for school districts. If we go over, I'll go ahead and let Carmela talk about our associates.
Yes, there are 160 associates across the country, and they are with us long-term, which provides stability, and that is important to the districts that we work with. Our associates work extremely well together and typically work in teams, organized regionally. And Ryan referred to that. The team that will be in California will, in addition to the President Gary Ray and Ryan, will include Anita Johnson, Ricardo Medina, Noel Gallo, and Joe Poco. So that's who would be involved. Over 40% of our associates are women or minorities, which helps to provide different perspectives as we work with and vet candidates and prepare the candidate pools. And moving on to the database, since I mentioned candidates. The database is built on years of aggressive recruiting, and the candidates are pre-screened and pre-qualified. But every year, the system of the database is flushed. So it starts anew, and if people are interested in the position.
So we don't just have a big pool database where we go, well, we need a superintendent, this person applied 7 years ago, here they are. So it gets flushed every year.
There has to be current interest shown. And there's no purchasing, as was mentioned, but through ongoing communication with candidates and the applicant pool, we build trust, and that allows us to attract and maintain strong interest in the position throughout the search and through the process.
To go through the process, you can see the circles there where the board input and preparation starts at the top and goes around. But we are flexible throughout this whole search. It needs to be tailored to your specific district. This is not our search. This is your search. And it's the most important thing that you're going to be doing as a board member, hiring your next superintendent. In 39 years, we've never hired a superintendent at all. That's your job, not ours. So we're here to bring you the best candidates. That's what we're going to do. Another thing that I wanted to go ahead and point out is that we have a full-time office staff. Not a lot of firms have a full-time office staff. So we have 3 to 4 people working there full-time. I say 3 to 4 because one of our gals just had a baby. So she's out. So she probably won't be answering the phone in the next month or so. Baby girl, by the way. Big baby girl. But a lot of the stuff, in fact, having a full-time office staff and some of the flyers that we're going to be handing out, you can go ahead and hand it out. This is some flyers that we've done in California. The top one is Pasadena. I think Santa Clara County is in there as well. You've already hired staff to do a full-time job already. So that's why we are going to put the burden on us, not on your staff. Okay, so it's very important to point out. If I flip over to the next one, we start talking about building the profile. Building the profile is the most important thing that we're going to do. Okay, we meet with individual board members, have one-on-one interviews with each person to find out exactly what they are looking for in the next superintendent. We will meet with all your constituents that you have within the community. We're not going to pretend and tell you exactly who we need to talk to in your community. It's your community. You know who we have to talk to. Okay, so however many people that you want us to meet with, however many organizations, we will meet with as many people as possible. Okay, we can do them at the same time. We're going to have a big staff here, or we can do them all at once. I do suggest in that time that you have an open forum in the morning. Okay. That's basically for individuals that work in the evening. We still care about those individuals. We want their input. And also have a open meeting at the end. And I always tell boards, because it is all about kids, that allow us to meet with the children. Because I tell you, doing this business, traveling around meeting with kids, they have a pulse on the district. They know what's going on. Out of the mouths of babes, there you go. Okay. Also, with that dialogue, you're going to see, and I'll be able to show you right here, this is a 33 characteristics survey, okay, that we will ask everybody at the meeting to fill out. Okay. Out of the 33 characteristics, you're only on to select 10. Okay. So we want everybody that's at those meetings to fill this out, but we also want this to be put on your school district website so that everybody can fill them out. Okay? And then this is a good one. The boards always like this. It's a blank sheet. Okay? And so what they're going to do is they're going to be able to write down anything and everything that they want you to know. And we do not change any of it. Okay? So, thank you. We do not change any of it. You're going to see everything that is exactly written down as everybody writes it. So we want to be as open as possible throughout this whole search. And then actually the profile report will be delivered to the board, and we'll say, okay, out of the characteristics, this is what your community said, and this is probably what should be put in the profile for what we seek in the next superintendent. After you go ahead and approve that, we can do that in person, or we can do that via Skype. We understand that technology works and it's available, and hey, save a couple bucks. Why not? So let's go ahead and do that.
That's the pro for using Skype.
Yeah, I actually am doing a Skype interview
He's in Hanoi
tomorrow
right now.
with a board. It's actually a charter
We'll
school.
be Skyping from Hanoi.
So we utilize technology, and you'll be able to see that. So the board will approve that profile. We'll go ahead and get it into the advertisements, and we'll get it on our website and start advertising right away. The next step is the recruiting process. We advertise and we recruit, like I said, on our website, but we also advertise in many different venues such as Facebook, Twitter, several of the educational organizations, and newspapers, obviously. Ed Week is the big one, okay? Educational Week.
Yeah.
Okay, and so we absolutely think that you need to
That's a big one.
advertise there. It doesn't need to be a big $5,000 advertisement. As long as it's there, people will go ahead and apply as long as they come.
EdCal would be the other one, the California.
Yes, so, and, you know, a lot of,
Yeah, national versus
one thing
state.
that we do is we don't tell you where you need to advertise, because you don't have to spend a lot of money. There's a lot of free sites out there as well. So we want to go ahead and hit those.
Another one.
In here, it has that we aggressively recruit. And a lot of boards wonder what that means. And what that means is you want a candidate that has a good job now. You don't want a candidate that's reading lines, all right? So that's what our job is to do. We go out there and we aggressively recruit that candidate to this district. So that's what that means. Again, with our 160 associates and advertising at the national conventions, the state conventions, the Latino Administrators Convention, all of those, we feel that we're going to be able to hit some.
Also the Latino School Boards Association, they just met last weekend in March. Also the California Association of Latino Superintendents and
Associates, right?
Administrators. I was a former president of that group. And Access Superintendent Academy, there are 4 academies running throughout the state, and I direct the one in Whittier. So there's a lot of recruitment that can take place.
And I know we only have 10 minutes, so I'm hurrying. But what we'll do is we'll typically bring 8 to 12 semifinalists to the board, okay? And with that, you'll get all the candidate in-depth conversation. We do all the background checks, all the internet checks, all the reference checks. By the time they get here, they will be who they say they are, okay? No surprises. We don't want a surprise. You don't want a surprise, okay? That's our job. We'll go ahead and make that happen. Let's see. Yeah, we'll fully investigate the candidate. One thing I wanted to show you is that we are the only search firm out there doing this, okay? We're really excited about it. We test ran it last year. Boards loved it. It's a one-way video interview. So what will happen is when those top 10 to 12 candidates come to you, we're going to hand out a packet. We're going to say, this is Tony Apostle, okay? And here's Tony Apostle's one-way video interview for you to look at. And you're going to get to actually see Tony answer the questions, okay? And then boards love it because you actually get to interview the candidates before you have to pay to have them come in, which is a great plus. And candidates love it because guess what? They're not just a name on a piece of paper. So, something, and again, I'm sorry that I can't show you on the big screen, but it will be something such as this. So you'll get to see the candidate go ahead and answer questions. And obviously by the time that we go ahead and present this, if we are lucky enough to be selected, we'll get the technology working. So it'll be up on the big board, okay?
Kind of like, sorry for that analogy, but I've seen it. I don't watch a lot of TV, but kind of like the dating thing that they say a little bit about. Right? I mean, really, it's like an interview.
Sir, could I get a little view of that?
Well, I will go ahead and say this.
I'm sorry, this is supposed to be for the board interaction.
That's fine.
This is for the public too, because this is going up on YouTube. I want them to
You
know.
were being rude, sir.
Okay, I see where you're
You
coming
were
from.
speaking
It's
out
okay.
loud during your presentation. It's actually interrupting the process.
You have no business having this
I'm
meeting.
trying to concentrate and listening.
Why are you even having this meeting? If you want to get nasty,
This is your warning. Next
Okay.
time you speak out loud and interrupt this board meeting where we're trying to conduct business for the school district, you will be asked to leave. I'm sorry, but that's the way every school district in the state runs.
no, they don't.
Yes.
I got news for you.
It's funny that you say dating website, because in all actuality, what we say and what our firm's president always says is, what we need to do is make a marriage here. That's what we're doing. We're marrying a good candidate with a good school district. And if we don't do that, we don't make sure that that happens, then that person can leave in a year. And that's not what we want. We want to bring somebody to you that grows roots in the community. And that brings me to my next point, that we do offer a 2-year guarantee.
Okay, that was important.
Okay, I figured that was coming. But, and one other thing that we kind of do, we offer a board self-assessment survey. So when the superintendent comes, we're going to go ahead and do a survey with the board, self-assessment, and then we're going to provide you the input, okay? That's free. We used to charge for that, it's free now, and something that we started this year is that we're not just going to go ahead and offer that once. We will give that board assessment survey to you every year that the superintendent is here.
Self-assessment.
Self-assessment survey every single year. And that is free. So, with that all being said, and the factors presented to you today, we are happy to be here, happy to be presenting. We think the technology that we have is superior. With the 160 associates and all the national and state organizations that we have and work with, we really think that we can help you, and that's our goal. Carmela, you have any last statement? I did pretty good? Okay. All right. Well, thank you so much, and we open it up to questions.
Did you think that you missed anything that you weren't able to address to the board? Because you'll have, if you have to say something else that you missed, just for interruption purposes, feel free to do that and not be nervous of the time.
Well, I will go ahead and I'll say we are familiar with California. Okay? We have done work in California. We've done Santa Clara County, Albany recently, Berkeley recently. So we are familiar with California. We are familiar with the region. And my understanding is, and I don't know, so I'll just go ahead and I'll say this. We'll do a search however you want. But like I said at the beginning, this is your search. If you want a national search, we will give you a national search. If you want a California or regional, we will get those people as well. So whatever search you want, and obviously we don't have to say it here today, but we will do for you. So that's just one other thing I wanted to point out to you. Okay?
I do have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you guys have a track record? And what I mean by that is some firms have over the past 10 years, they still have 50% of the higher. Do you have something like that?
Yeah, we do. In fact, it's in your proposal. It just, in here, it just has a couple of the past years, and it says if they are current or when they left. Okay? And I think in your proposal, it goes all the way back to 2009.
Page 7, starting on page 5.
We'll go ahead and I'll say,
Oh, yeah, I didn't know how to read it. Okay.
Yeah.
I was kind of confused by that too. Okay, so that's
Through 11.
yes.
Yeah.
And I will say, our track record, the average superintendent stays in a urban school district 2 years. Average superintendent 3 years. Our placements usually average in the realm of 5.5 to 6 years.
Which is a little bit longer than
That is-
longer than the normal
Normal
shelf
sugar
life
free.
of a superintendent.
Yes, ma'am. And again, when I talked about making that marriage, that's the reason why.
Providing workshops, we select the superintendent, so the board and the new superintendent.
Sure. With that board self-assessment survey, I think that helps a little bit of that. We do help boards with workshops. It's just another phase of ours. That could be an extra fee. However, like I said, that board self-assessment survey is absolutely free. And obviously, we have local people that can come and do some workshops with you as well.
And I have conducted workshops.
Yes, ma'am.
I understand after, but quite frankly, as I had mentioned to the board a few minutes ago, is that we need to know each other's vision.
That's right.
And we haven't gotten to that yet. At this point, we've had a major shakeup, and it would be nice to have some of this before we hire a superintendent. You can't do that, reactively, you really need to kind of be proactive. And if that is all inclusive, or is that, because I understand after the fact, it would be an added cost. That makes sense.
Right.
However, as you're going through the process, which we very much need, and I don't know how much you know about Centinela, but that's very important that you do know what we've gone through. And
Right.
there's a difference between what's in the media and just the pain that we've gone through. We have a lot of healing to go through.
I understand.
And that we get to work together as a board, because this is who we have to make the hiring process, and we have a vision, and that we have, that we understand each other, and we can give ideas to the new superintendent. This is what the climate looks like. Are there things along the road that you're committing us to be part of the process by having extra board meetings, or that type of thing? I'm not sure, but I think that might have been where you were going, because
Well, I think it was for pre-workshops. My concern is, pre and post, obviously.
Well, I'll tell you this much. We are a team from the beginning, all right? That first meeting, we're going to learn a lot about what you want and what your vision is, okay? Whatever your vision is our vision, okay? And if we are selected, we're going to have some serious talks. We're going to have some fun with this, because it is a fun process. It should be an exciting process for the board. You're going to have so many personal cell phone numbers. You're going to have mine. You're going to have Carmela's. You're going to have Noel's. And you're going to have access to us. I don't say 24/7 because 3 a.m., there's a time difference from where I live. So, she's local. But we will be able to work. If there's a board meeting that pops up and you need one of us here, some of our local, like Carmela, can be here and help you work through some processes.
I'm familiar with doing a 1.5 hour workshop before each board meeting.
Because my concern is not so much that you understand only what the vision is, but that we all understand what each other's vision is, because that's part of, a potential problem.
That's right. And I hope you can appreciate the fact when we do our individual board member interviews, obviously, that's
Oh, yes.
you and I,
Of
and you and I,
course.
you and I, you and I.
Little bit
And
more
obviously,
information.
yes. And what we can do is come back and say, this is what we've been told. This is what the board feels like. And this is kind of the vision of where we're going. However, we're going to also go back and do all this constituent group meetings with the public and say, this is what they are looking at. So does the board's vision match the community's vision? Does it match? And you're going to actually get to see, this is what the teachers say. This is what the bus drivers say. This is what the kids say. You're going to see every single person's, I guess,